Hi, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home, and we're going to talk about warm boards, which is, I've got a great representative here. This is Newell Andrus from Warm Boards, and we're going to talk about heating your subfloor, either in the form of concrete, embedding it in concrete, or we'll talk about it as a structural application for your subfloor. But I want to talk about how important that is for cold climates. I'm not used to building in very, very cold climates. I build in the low desert. So we really don't have this issue. However, I've been building up on the mountains lately, and I've had to research, oh my gosh, how am I going to heat this home? Because in super, super cold climates, you want to have the heat applied from the bottom up. You don't want to try to force air from above. You really want that heat as low as you possibly can. And getting into the structure, getting into the floorboards, getting it into the foundation, that's what's key. So we're going to walk through this house. I want to thank D. Blake Holmes, a fellow builder here in my local area, for allowing me to showcase this application in his home here, because mine's not ready right now. So I wanted to thank D. Blake Holmes for that. Let's walk through this and first tell us, what is a subfloor heating system?
So a radiant heating system is going to be putting heat through the floor into the living space. Radiant heat radiates similar to what a fireplace would do, where the sunshine is radiating heat. It's pushing the heat. Works far better than trying to heat air and push air around. Forced air is going to be 120 to 140 degrees, and hot air goes straight up.
So what he's saying here is, if you're standing in front of a fireplace, even though the window is closed, you're going to feel that radiant heat touch your skin.
And one of the differences is forced air, you're pushing air around, and hot air goes straight up. It rises very rapidly.
Right.
Heat will go wherever you push it. So a radiant heat from a fire, you don't stand above it to be warm. You're standing off to the side, and that radiates the heat out, and it's pushing the heat. It warms objects. It warms the body, which is much more comfortable than hot air that's blowing past your skin.
Right.
Moving air has a cooling effect.
So the neat thing here is that it's heating the floor, and heat rises. And because it's heating the floor, you're not going to have cold spots in the floor. And that's a big nightmare for cold environments.
Yes.
Especially as you get to the perimeter of the home, a slab on grade, within 2 or 3 feet, that floor is going to be cold.
Right.
Walk barefoot in your feet, and if you have a slab grade on your home, walk around the perimeter of the home, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I let my dog out late last night. She had to go to the bathroom. And as I'm walking I had bare feet on, as I'm walking to that exterior door, within 3 to 4 feet, it was super cold right there. And again, I live in the low desert. It was a cold night last night. So you're basically stopping that.
Correct. And especially with warm board having a thick aluminum plate that's formed into the wooden panel, the aluminum transfers the heat 10 inches each direction.
Okay.
And we have tubing every 12 inches. So you get a perfectly even floor everywhere. It's as warm on the outer edge as it is in the center. That's one of the things that you struggle getting when you try and do radiant in a slab, is concrete is a heat sink. And so on those edges, that cold just is sucked right into it because it's not a conductor.
And it's not so much the cold sucking in, it's the heat chasing
out. Heat always seeks cold.
It goes after the cold part.
Yep.
And because there's so much cold, it's going to go to that direction. It's not going to heat the inside of the home.
Correct.
Let's go look at, we have an actual exposed area of this, and then we're going to look at his manifold section and the thermostat that he's got, and look at some side profiles of this system. Let's go that way. We're here outside the walk-in shower, and if you've known from various posts, I like to have a zero threshold shower. So we've been able to do that here with the warm board system, and you can see it here in this shower. Now we have a heated floor in the shower, which would be a very nice thing for me because I can't stand a cold shower with my feet super cold. So we're solving that, and you can see it wind through the substrate. And here's an example side profile of the warm board system underneath an actual wood tongue and groove solid wood floor system. And their warm board actually is warranted with the floor. It's not going to expand the heat of the wood. It's not going to do any damage, correct?
Correct, yep. So warm board has the lowest water temperatures in the industry. So the surface of the floor never gets over 85 degrees.
Okay.
When hardwood gets over 85, it voids warranty on almost all hardwoods.
Oh, so you have a system that stops it from getting hotter than what the wood.
Yep, with all of the science and the thermal dynamics of the warm board and the aluminum plate on there being the proper thickness. It moves the heat around so it never overheats the hardwood.
Okay.
And then our controls and our boiler system are all set up to talk and communicate so that that hardwood is always sound. Tile, you can tile right to it. You don't have to do any extra work. All the traditional methods of tile setting, whether it's a mortar bed, metal lath with a thin set like this home has, or you can put backer board down to it and tile onto the backer
Can you
board.
staple through that with the metal lath?
Yes.
You can.
Yep. The aluminum on this is 99.9% pure
Okay.
aluminum. It's actually softer than a lot of the wood that it's on.
Okay.
Same saws, same nails, same tools. No extra work.
So it's not that thick. You can actually stick a staple through
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Okay.
It's 2,500 thick, 1070 aluminum alloy.
Okay, is this like a DIYer situation?
We have a lot of people who do most of the system themselves. We do require that we have a plumber on file or an HVAC person to do the life safety issues, hooking up the gas, hooking up the main water lines,
Okay.
those things that could be an issue later on.
Now, you were mentioning that you probably get more calls from owner builders than you do from general contractors. Why is that?
General contractors struggle with trying anything they've not done before. We have a saying that general contractors will try anything new as long as grandpa did it first. They get very comfortable with what they do. They don't want to try anything outside of that normal. And they get stuck. So they get stuck with old technology. When traditional radiant started coming around 100 years ago and the gypcrete and putting it in the slab, it was the newest technology out there. That was 100 years ago.
Mm.
It's like using the original phones, cell phones to text. You could almost do it versus the modern smartphones. Which one would you run your business on today? And that's the difference between a warm board and a traditional radiant system.
So I'm willing to bet that those contractors that do call you are probably calling you saying, my client's mentioning something they want installed to their home. It's not something they found, but it's something they found. And it's because of the client doing research that the builder's now forced to make some adaptation to.
A lot of times that is exactly right. We do have more and more builders are getting to where they'll look at new things. It's still hard for them to try it. But homeowners bringing it to the builder, bring it to their home designer, their architects. Architects push it a lot. Builders have a lot of pushback because it's new to them.
Yeah.
The warm board's been around 30 years. We've done 40 million square feet of panels.
That's a lot of square foot.
We've done over 1,000 comfort systems where we supply the entire package.
And what's your area of coverage? Right now you're in the state of Utah, but we're
All of North America.
all of North America.
We've done a little bit in South America. We've got them in Antarctica,
Mhm.
up in Alaska, the North Pole.
Let's go look at your manifold system so you can actually see how it comes up through the floorboard real quick. Okay, you're here with Newell in front of his. This is the manifold system for the warm board system. And I'll let him explain kind of how this is applied and installed in the home. So go ahead, Newell.
Thank you. So our manifolds have a supply and a return. And from the manifold, we've got our loops that go out and do each room. So part of our system, we'll have a control box here. When the house is finished, they install the manifold controller, plugs into a 110 outlet, and it talks wirelessly with all the rest of our controls, our thermostat, our boiler controls.
So each room has its own thermostat for heating.
Each room will have its own thermostat. So every zone can have its own temperature.
Mhm.
Nighttime setbacks for the bedrooms. Sleeping in a cooler room at night has a lot of benefits. Most people sleep better. There's health benefits. Traditional radiance, you can't do that. With the warm board system, you can do that because of the conductivity. It will cool down quickly and it will heat up very quickly in the morning again.
So this home actually, you said it could actually heat up within 20 minutes.
In 20 minutes, you can feel it warming up very quickly.
Okay.
In 18 to 20 minutes, you actually get 10 BTUs per square foot, which is an average to heat a home
Okay.
in this climate.
Oh, wow. And the boiler, where would you put the boiler at?
So the boiler is typically in the mechanical room.
Okay.
Our system on a house, this is about a 6,000 square foot house. We need 47 inches wide, about 84 inches tall, and oftentimes it would fit in a closet.
Almost like a tankless water heater, almost that size.
Yes, that's
Okay.
slightly larger than most tankless water heaters. This closet here is about 4 feet wide,
Okay.
so you put the whole system right here in this closet. From the manifolds, all the actuators get turned off and on based off of the call for demand from the wireless thermostat.
That's almost a little more efficient than a manifold situation you see with forced air. I know they have flaps and stuff.
Yep.
inside forced air, but that's never a solid seal.
Right.
And so, and then there's a mechanical operation that could go bad at some point down the road, and cutting through that drywall to fix that, to get control inside each room is not that easy.
Right.
So this here, it's all right here in a warm board system. Again, this is for the heating of the home. There's several different applications. This here's a structural, this is not a structural application. So they didn't have the floor, they had this floorboard. You put
this floorboard,
this actual floorboard, and then they put thin set over it. Actually, it's a self-leveling thin set over the entire floor. Now it's ready to have tile applied. And you know how cold a house could be with tile. Now this house is going to be super comfortable because we got a warm board underneath the tile. Again, I wanted to thank Newell Anders for coming out and talking with us and showing this system. If you want more, see his link in the description box below. And again, a reminder, we do live chat every Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you want to check us out, just ask the builder and ask me any questions you want. I have a lot of fun meeting a lot of people, having a good conversation every Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. live chat. This is Keith Kelch with How to Build Your Own Home, talking about warm boards. You guys take care.